Hi there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the mid-season showdown for Malaysia's Video Game Championships Pokémon 2016. I'm Aklif and this is my co-host.
Hi, my name is Sito.
Yeah, and we'll be commentating for today's match for the top cut of the mid-season showdown.
Yep.
So today for the top cut, as you know, like we have 8 players in top cut, and we will be streaming on today's match is Jirariwat Thitasiri versus Jonathan Chiang.
Yeah.
So before we go into the battle itself, first and foremost, we'd like to introduce who these two players are. Jirariwat, or we'll call him Jira, is a very well-known Thai player who actually has come down to Malaysia quite a few times to play, and he is well known to have for his love of both Mega Gardevoir and Kecleon as well. And for Jonathan, he's a Singaporean who has played numerous times in various species in Singapore, and if I am not mistaken, has also earned his invites to Worlds. So congratulations, John.
Yeah.
Now, let's move on to the battle itself. We wait for the players to start. But
Alright, let's go.
okay, so in the meantime, like for what we have here today, other than the mid-season showdown, is that for the other players, they're currently already playing, and we will update you about their statuses as they go on. But if I am not mistaken, from what we know, that one player could not make it to this tournament due to some errors.
Really?
And yes,
Yeah.
and so in this top cut, there are actually just 7 players left, which is quite unfortunate due to some unforeseen circumstances to that one person. So fortunately for the other person, his opponent, I guess he gets a free win from him.
Yeah, I guess so. Alright, so
Right. Is there anything else that you want to say? So maybe for Jira, I'm hoping to maybe see Kecleon in his matches. I don't think I've seen a Kecleon in VGC 16 just yet.
Yep.
And I'm not too sure what John has been bringing so far in his matches, but in my experience playing against him in other tournaments, it's been a two-way thing. Sometimes I win, sometimes he wins, but yeah, I've seen him bring Big Six in the last tournament,
Yep.
but I don't know what he will bring in this tournament,
Well,
that's for sure.
Well, basically Singaporeans always bring the ones that can work the best.
Well,
isn't it?
that's the stereotype coming in, because what you see is that a lot of people would expect like Singaporeans to bring like Big Six or stuff that is common.
Or
And
just
then-
like 2015 Chalk.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people using Chalk last year.
Yes, that's correct. Now, but if you talk about like the other scenes like in Malaysia or Thailand, a lot of players tend to bring like non-conventional teams, I would
Correct.
say. So it could either catch these more common meta teams off guard, or like, you know, for the more experienced players, it doesn't matter towards them anyway. It's like, oh, just
Yeah.
another stumble in the road.
Correct.
So I think we can move on to the team preview screens already. So here we go. Both players are getting ready for their match.
Okay.
Due to some technical errors, we will be waiting a bit more longer. They are setting up, so don't worry about it at all. Okay, Zito, what do you think of this year's meta game? Of how do you think of VGC 16 in general?
VGC 16 itself, well, as we all know, VGC 16, they are releasing the legendaries from the box, especially very big power creep increase into the game. So right now,
I guess yes. So with the very large input of high raw stats.
Correct.
For example, you have the primals who have huge attack, special attack stats,
Huge
defense.
advantage.
Yes, and the only
Yes.
problem lies in them not having enough speed.
not having as much speed, but then again, that would mean they will become the tank, now would it be? Because they are slow, but then they got high power.
True, but then you lose to faster Pokemon that can mitigate them, because as you've seen before in previous
Correct.
in not just previous matches, but in full VGC, it's all about the primals.
Yes.
And then the
And-
support, support
Correct.
Pokemon support. So for
Correct,
example,
correct.
we've seen the more notorious Smirgle running around.
Yeah.
We've seen Crobat come as a very prominent tailwinder quick guy, and since that's in a focus,
Yes.
it stops all these fake outs from happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I'll say to counter that, well, let's not forget there is some legendaries like Xerneas. Suddenly you can see a whole lot, just one style of Xerneas where they just play power
Yeah.
herbs and it just play pure
Well-
Geomancy, and it becomes the fast one and the
That-
strong
that's
one.
true, because it's
Powerhouse.
considered to be one of the best moves it has, and like
Right.
but also due to it like having to rely specifically on Power Herb and Geomancy. Therefore, one, it's very weak to Trick Room, and two, stuff like Smurgle runs around rampant with the Dark Void being able to put both Pokemon to sleep. You have these large slow primals
Yes.
who, if they choose to go slow, they are weak to Trick Room. But if they choose to go fast, they still won't be outspeeding a lot of things in the metagame.
Well, that's in general terms. That means that whoever has the best lead will win the whole game.
Well, in most cases that actually goes that way, but we shouldn't underestimate how each player
Correct.
chooses to maneuver
Correct.
themselves around this.
Correct.
Because you all know, Pokemon is a game of prediction. Pokemon is a game of skill.
Well, it is turn-based as it is. If you cannot think of what they think of, and even though you, from our point of view, if we see that he's having a disadvantage, but then in his player's view, maybe it is going according to his plan, and that will be
For all you know, you might be
be a
just
great
playing
play.
into the opponent's trick all this time.
correct.
So that has been Pokemon for a very long time. But
Yes.
for VGC 16 itself, I think the main thing is that a lot of lesser known Pokemons or like the more popular Pokemons previously have been demoted to either second ranked offenses or mainly supports. Even I would say Mega Kangaskhan has been demoted to secondary offense.
Barely, I would say.
Barely, of course,
Barely,
Kangaskhan is
but
still the
everyone's still using Kangaskhan from what I see.
Kangaskhan
The only
is
change I've seen actually is they changed I would say the before Mega Evolution form, the ability they use inner focus
Yeah,
instead.
now more
So
inner
that
focus.
is a good one,
That-
just to counter fake out.
The influx of fake out has always been something of quite high importance due to most players. What they do is that they choose to lead with. So they choose to lead with their supports first hand. So maybe it's a fake out Trick Room, fake out Dark Void, whatever. And then later on they bring their primals in and they just like sweep through.
Correct. That is a play style that everyone's going for. But then, as the time goes, as we can see, there's more variations coming
Because-
out. We suddenly see a drop of Xenos instead,
Yeah.
and a slightly increase of Yveltal.
Yeah,
I used to
that-
play Yveltal.
I mean, I'm not saying Yveltal is bad, but there are tactics that have been going on very successful with Yveltals in their teams themselves.
Correct.
So I would say that for these, because we all know that the main legendaries, one are the two primals, and then afterwards it's immediately Xerneas, who are in the highest usages. But at the same time, a lot of spotlight has been going on to one is, I would say the second most prominent would be Rayquaza and
Yes,
its Mega
correct.
Form, due to the fact it in general counters both primals, and at the same time it complements them.
Correct.
So if you have Groudon and Rayquaza, your Rayquaza can have usually a water type, but a lot of people choose to go with Rayquaza and Kyogre, as you see in other teams.
Well,
So
that is a good.
so I think we'll move on. They've already started that battle, it seems.
Oh, and looks like John is leading with
The Talonflame Groudon, whereas Jira has the Meowstic Groudon. Now, in case you don't know what their teams are, never mind. Meowstic goes for the Gravity. We will assume this is the first turn, and
it looks like we were.
and there we go. The Mega Salamence goes for Hyper Voice, revealing itself what it could be to be a mix. But that Meowstic actually has managed to survive both the Brave Bird and the Hyper Voice. And now with the Gravity, Groudon's Precipice Blades could KO the Talonflame.
And there you go.
And actually still deals damage to the to the Mega Salamence itself, but with the Intimidate, it's not going to bring it down less than 50%.
Now we see a Kyogre coming out.
So with Kyogre coming out on John's, and would we assume that it's faster than Jira's, because in most cases a lot of Meowstic Groudon's team tend to be Trick Room.
Yeah.
So I would assume in this turn Jira would switch out his Groudon and bring in a different Pokemon, and Meowstic would probably just go for some other move this turn before being sacked. Maybe Safeguard, maybe Swagger, or if it has Trick Room, like maybe he'll try to pull it off before the end of this turn. But definitely this turn John has the upper hand by having the Groudon's weather put off with its own Primordial Seed, as well as lowering Meowstic's HP to the next KO with either Hyper Voice or any other move done by the Kyogre.
Correct.
So here we go, Jira actually withdraws his Groudon, now that's normal, and sends out Ferrothorn. So here we go, a Thunder Wave actually going on to the Salamence. Now I think this is a very smart move coming from Jira himself. due to the fact that now it actually slows down the Ferrothorn a lot. Now, maybe an Ice Beam will go into the Ferrothorn slot or Water Sport itself. So what we have here is an Origin Pulse actually coming up from the Kyogre. How much damage you do to a single target Ferrothorn? Actually bringing it down to Rin HP. I think that's less than 10% left, but Ferrothorn reveals to have... no, it not only this way, also reveals to have leftovers coming, so it heals a little bit more HP. So for this turn, yes, once again, the Groudon makes an appearance, and I think this is a very smart move coming from Jiraiya due to the fact he's already paralyzed the...
And also
Mega Salamence,
Origin Pulse.
Yes, now the Origin Pulse is already cancelled out with all water attacks being nullified by the Desolate Land.
Right.
So now Jiraiya has actually turned the favors back into his hands, even though he might have paid a price with his Ferrothorn being severely damaged. Now it reveals that he actually is faster, but he actually aims into the Groudon, which I don't think is a very smart move, because probably Precipice Blades won't KO the... No, it's not enough to KO the Salamence, but unfortunately, due to 25% skill, it's not going to be able to get past the paralysis.
Correct.
And there we go, actually connecting with that Power Whip due to gravity, and the Kyogre goes down. Now I think it's 3-2 in Jira's favor. So the last Pokemon I assume would either be Xerneas. And yes, it is Xerneas coming now. Groudon here is in a very good position because it can go straight for another Precipice Blades. But I think the more obvious thing is that for John, he really needs to go for hope for the KO on the Moonblast onto the Groudon. But I don't think that's even possible. It doesn't look to be too good for John this turn due to the paralysis. It really set him back a few paces there.
Right.
So there we go, a Moonblast straight into the Ferrothorn. And yes, it does pick up the KO there, but not going to do enough because with Groudon still on field and gravity still being up, the Precipice Blades is definitely hitting both targets, bringing down Xerneas to a little bit above 50%, and the Salamence is definitely knocked out there. So the last Pokemon on... and it reveals to actually be the Salamence there. So now both Pokemon are... Well, it's not actually faster than the Xerneas, but with Salamence on field, he's either forced to Dazzling Gleam here, that's for sure, because if not, he won't be able to KO both Pokemon. So with Dazzling Gleam, I don't think he'll be able to KO, but...
Looks like it will be a loss.
But it could be a loss for match 1 for John here.
Yeah.
Jira has actually turned the tables back into his favor with that Thunder Wave. And no, actually goes for double, revealing that it's actually faster than the Xerneas. So that Xerneas might not be fully speed invested. So let's congratulate Jira for winning down match 1.
Congratulations, Jira.
For his top 8 match. Now
let's see.
before we go on to the next match, we'll be discussing a bit on actually what teams they are bringing here. Now, Jira is actually bringing Ferrothorn, Xerneas, Groudon, Meowstic, Salamence, and surprise, surprise, also a Kecleon into his team. Whereas John,
Right. Okay, for John, he is bringing Among Us, Salamence, Xerneas, as we all can see just now, Kyogre, Talonflame, and Kangaskhan.
now I think other than Jira's very unique team, we have John's team as well, who seems to be a reverse Big Six because
Yes, correct.
it has all the elements of Big Six except it changes Groudon for Kyogre and it has Among Us instead.
Yeah.
So a very interesting call here for John for playing.
Correct.
It's like not Big Six, I would say.
Yeah.
And at the same time, we also have Jira's team with his Kecleon, and we already know the Gravity Meowstic with the Groudon as well on field. Now we already see that already both going to battles. It's interesting to see what John will go to adapt to the leads this time. Will he go with the same leads of Salamence as well?
But then, basing on that, he lost. But then again, from what I see, Jira has pulled out all his moves.
Yeah, he's pulled out quite a number of his moves. Once again, the double fly. And here we go. Also, both actually having the same leads.
Okay.
So I think once again we'll still see a Gravity and Precipice Blades.
Yes, correct. But then again, what are the odds that Talonflame has a Tailwind to pull it out?
Maybe he does have Tailwind, and I think that's what he needs to do in order to win instead of actually going for knowing that Brave Bird and Hyper Voice does not kill. But probably I think he's gonna Brave Bird and double edge to his slot. But at the same time, that just leaves Groudon undamaged.
Correct.
So probably an eruption the next turn will hurt quite a lot for John. Now, I don't think John here has done quite well by having both Talonflame and Salamence. I think Salamence is a good call to bring here, but not that Talonflame in itself.
Yeah, we should be expecting maybe something different.
Maybe I would say he should have brought maybe his Kangaskhan there, or his
Correct,
or maybe some other Pokemon, because yes, of course, Talonflame does pretty much stop a Precipice, but with the gravity from a Precipice Blaze from Groudon, but with gravity being on field, there's no point. And once again, he goes for a Thunder Wave onto the Salamence, and I think a Rock Slide will come out this turn. So probably a Hyper Voice, no, actually going for the Double Edge onto the Meowstic, and it does pick up the KO. Yes, like I said just now, he actually did it in order to pick up the KO. But here, I think a Rock Slide will come from Jira's side. But no, actually, Salamence misses the Rock Slide. Wow, there we go, ladies and gentlemen, 20% skill right there.
Yep.
But this is why I think he should have pulled the gravity off instead.
Yes.
But then again, John really tried to adjust to that.
Correct.
To the Meowstic by double edging it instead. But once again, his Salamence is already paralyzed.
Yeah. So we'll see, may RNG be on the side.
It depends on what. So once again, the Kyogre comes out and Salamence also comes out for his turn. Now this is a huge advantage for Jira in a sense, other than the fact that his Groudon is still on field, because an Origin is definitely going to KO.
Yes.
But with his own Salamence on field, he's already intimidated opposing Salamence, and that Salamence is also paralyzed.
Correct.
So I would say Jira is still taking this very strongly into his second match as well.
Yes.
Depending on what he does, I think he switches out his Groudon into whatever back Pokemon he has, which I think should be a Ferrothorn, and pulling off the same move again. So I think the best move this turn is that he protects with Salamence, and he attacks with he switches out the Ferrothorn. Yep, here we go. But if John actually predicts this, he might just go straight onto the Ice Beam into that Groudon slot, knowing that the Ferrothorn is coming in. But no, he actually switches out, and I think Xerneas is coming in here. Yes, not such a good call, I think, coming from John, really pulling off some really pulling off some safe-ish switches. But with the Salamence on Jira's side there, he can easily go for a double edge onto the Kyogre. No, onto the Kyogre slot, which is the more obvious thing to do. And yes, actually goes for the Ice Beam, but no, into the Salamence. So Ferrothorn actually is still safe here.
Correct.
Let's say, I think what's gonna happen here is that he's gonna double edge into the Xerneas slot, and maybe also go for a Gyro Ball. But at the same time, more or less both Pokemon on John's side is very much threatened. But I think the bigger cause that's happening right now is that
Which one to go down first?
Yeah, which one's gonna go down first? I mean, it could even be a trade-off where one Pokemon goes down, or like it could go down to a trade-off of. But actually, he switches out Groudon now. I actually expected him to switch out Groudon, knowing that that an Ice attack might be going into that slot and a Dazzling Gleam.
Yes.
But depending on and actually yes, he actually chooses to attack with both Pokemon. I think here what happens is that Ice Beam and a Dazzling Gleam is gonna go off. But no, it's a Geomancy. Oh, if he actually goes for an Iron, he goes for a Gyro Ball into that slot, it is going down.
It is very going down. We'll see how it's played.
So unless Jira actually goes for a Power Whip, then it's not gonna be too good for Jira itself.
Correct.
Since if he did, I think he should have attacked with both Pokemon. And he actually does go for the Gyro Ball into the predicted Geomancy. I think what happened is John actually over-predicted, thinking that Jira would predict him to protect on his Xerneas, and therefore he went. But no, actually now another Primal actually goes down quite easily. And with a paralyzed Salamence on field, it doesn't look too good for John in this side.
And also losing the Intimidate from Mega Evolving, and won't see any videos.
And remember, at the back, Jira has his own Salamence, which could just potentially clean up the match later on.
True.
So what he only really needs to do is just attack with both Pokemon well. So I think here a Rock Slide and Yep, Rock Slide and Gyro Ball or Rock Slide and Power would be the safest play for him to do.
Correct.
Here we go. Does it hit into the... Yes, it actually does hit into the Salamence. Will it flinch it since it's a paralyzed? So we might get a para flinch here. Even more skill, ladies and gentlemen. And yes, it's actually paralyzed.
Oh,
here we go. This is how the game works in Pokemon. It's actually about skill. It's paralyzing and then it's flinching. So VGC 16 is all about... It's not about predicting. It's not about... Yeah, I mean, it's just, you know... Oh, you see a Xerneas, you Gyro Ball it. Duh. So... Here we go, I think it's just here, another Rock Slide going out, and he actually gets up a double protect. Wow, he's really hoping. No, and actually goes for a protect on his end.
Right.
Depending on what happens.
Both will then be exposed to getting BT when
now, Double Edge actually goes into the Ferrothorn itself. Iron Barbs here will hit it.
Yep.
And with also Double Edge Recall coming in, it actually just puts himself in even worse position.
Yeah, and there goes Power Whip.
So I think what's going to happen here is that what he's gonna do is that he's gonna try to push him into the into the range of an Ice Beam KO.
Yes.
But
seeing with
I think the more important thing is that Jiraiya needs to get damage off on that Kyogre ASAP.
Yes.
He needs to push it into double edge range of his own Salamence at the back. So I think the best thing for him to do is just go for another Rock Slide this turn.
Yes.
And you know, and if he has enough skill, it won't miss. But again, if John has enough skill, it will miss. So again, Ice Beam going into the Groudon slot, and a Rock Slide going here now. Now it actually connects on both Pokemon, so it actually will pick up the KO onto the Salamence here.
Yes.
Now depending on how much EVs the Ferrothorn has, it will strictly just KO it with Power Whip.
Yes.
So here we go. Jiraiya actually takes a very convincing 2-0 win into the top cut match. Congratulations, Jira. I'm actually quite saddened that he didn't bring his Kecleon. I really wanted to see it in match.
I would actually like to see Among Us and Kecleon. I would like to see how the play will go.
Like I said, I don't think John had a necessarily bad matchup against Jira.
Correct.
But the fact that he just kept leading the same two leads, which without adjustment can actually help him go up against the Miastic until the end.
If I were him, I would go with a different lead since first lead is not a very good advantage.
I think he should go instead for maybe a Momus, or he should just go for a quick guy instead.
But then again, who knows? Maybe
a Gravity might come out with another Precipice Blade, so like it's quite useless in the end.
Yes.
So Jira actually, going for a very smart, just
it's just I would say John gives a bad prediction. I think
John was
mispredicting.
a little bit over predicting about his match. Now, we'll go into a short break before we continue on to the top 4 matches. Will be coming up very soon. Stay tuned, guys.
Stay tuned.